Picture this. You're standing at the bustling Bangkok airport, jet-lagged and disoriented, when you realize your phone has no signal and you can't access your hotel booking confirmation. The taxi driver speaks no English, your credit card isn't working, and panic starts to creep in. This nightmare scenario happens to thousands of travelers every single day. But it doesn't have to happen to you. What if I told you that one conversation with a seasoned traveler could have prevented this entire disaster? That hidden in the wisdom of those who've walked these paths before lie the secrets to transforming your trips from stressful ordeals into seamless adventures. In the next few minutes, you're about to discover the travel hacks that airlines don't want you to know, the cultural mistakes that could land you in serious trouble, and the simple preparation tricks that separate amateur tourists from savvy explorers. These aren't just tips, they're hard-earned lessons from real travelers who've made every mistake so you don't have to. Whether you're planning your first international adventure or you're a frequent flyer looking to level up your game, this video will fundamentally change how you approach travel forever. Don't let your next trip become a cautionary tale. Hit that subscribe button and join thousands of smart travelers who never leave home unprepared. 1. The invisible eyes that control your journey. Imagine walking through the airport, completely unaware that artificial intelligence is orchestrating your every step. Welcome to the reality of 2025, where TSA's new AI-powered surveillance network has quietly revolutionized how major airports manage passenger flow. Picture yourself rushing through JFK on a busy Monday morning. As you approach the security checkpoint, you notice the line moving unusually smoothly. Almost too smoothly. What you don't realize is that overhead thermal and visual cameras are tracking not just you, but hundreds of other passengers simultaneously. This isn't random efficiency, it's algorithmic precision at work. The system operates like an invisible conductor orchestrating a complex symphony. When the AI detects that Line 3 is beginning to slow down due to a family struggling with oversized carry-ons, it instantly redirects new arrivals to Lines 1 and 3. When thermal sensors identify a passenger moving slowly due to mobility issues, the system automatically adjusts wait time predictions for that entire section. But here's what makes this truly remarkable and slightly unsettling. The AI doesn't just react to problems, it predicts them. By analyzing movement patterns, the system can forecast bottlenecks up to 15 minutes before they occur. That seemingly random gate agent who suddenly appeared to help direct traffic, she was positioned there because the AI predicted a crowd surge based on 3 delayed flights arriving simultaneously. This technology has already been deployed at major hubs, including Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson, Dallas-Fort Worth, JFK, LAX, and Miami International. The results are impressive. Average security wait times have decreased by 23%, and passenger complaints about crowding have dropped by 40%. However, the trade-off is complete surveillance of your movements, recorded and analyzed even if it's technically anonymous. 2. Your face is your new boarding pass. Step into the future of air travel, where your passport might become as obsolete as paper tickets once were. Biometric boarding has silently become the new standard on international routes, transforming gates into high-tech checkpoints that recognize you instantly. Picture this scenario. You're running late for your flight to London, stressed about potentially missing your connection. As you approach the gate, instead of fumbling for documents, you simply walk up to the scanner. In less than 3 seconds, a green light flashes. The gate opens, and you're boarding. No papers, no fumbling, no delays. The system has matched your face to your passport photo with 99.7% accuracy. This isn't science fiction anymore. Delta, United, and American Airlines have made facial recognition boarding mandatory on select international routes, departing from over 50 gates across U.S. airports. By July 2025, this system processes nearly 200,000 passengers weekly, with expansion to domestic flights already in testing phases. But here's the crucial detail most travelers miss. You can still opt out, but you must be proactive about it. The system is designed for seamless flow, so unless you specifically request manual verification from the gate agent before reaching the scanner, your face will be automatically scanned and processed. The technology is so smooth that many passengers don't even realize it's happening. The privacy implications are significant. While TSA and CBP claim biometric data is deleted within 12 hours, your facial template is temporarily stored in government databases during that window. For privacy-conscious travelers, this represents a fundamental shift in how personal data is collected and used during travel. The convenience is undeniable, but the privacy trade-offs are permanent. 3. The ID revolution. That's catching travelers off guard. After years of delays and extensions, the real ID enforcement has finally arrived with unforgiving precision. Since May 7, 2025, TSA agents have been turning away thousands of unprepared travelers weekly, creating a harsh reality check for anyone who thought they could slip through with their old driver's license. Imagine arriving at the airport 2 hours early, confident about your travel preparations, only to be stopped at the security checkpoint and told your ID doesn't meet federal standards. The TSA agent politely but firmly explains that your license, issued just 2 years ago, lacks the required Real ID compliance marking. Without a passport in your carry-on, your trip ends right there at the security line. This scenario plays out dozens of times daily at major airports, despite years of public awareness campaigns. Approximately 30% of U.S. drivers still carry non-compliant licenses. The identifying feature is simple but crucial: a gold or black star in the upper corner of your license. No star means no domestic flight access for adults over 18. The enforcement is absolute and unforgiving. Gate agents report heart-wrenching scenes of families separated when one parent's license doesn't comply, forcing last-minute rebooking and additional costs. Business travelers miss crucial meetings, and vacation plans crumble, all because of a small star many people never noticed was missing. States vary in their renewal processes, with some requiring in-person visits and additional documentation, like birth certificates or marriage licenses. What makes this particularly frustrating for travelers is that many assume their recently renewed license automatically meets the new standards. However, unless you specifically requested Real ID compliance during renewal, your new license might still lack the required federal approval. 4. The biometric baggage revolution. Your checked luggage experience is being transformed by the same facial recognition technology that's reshaping airport security. Major airlines have quietly deployed biometric bag drop systems that eliminate traditional check-in processes, but with hidden requirements that can leave unprepared travelers stranded in long manual check-in lines. Picture walking into Atlanta's Delta terminal with 15 minutes before check-in closes. Instead of rushing to find a kiosk or agent, you approach what looks like a standard bag drop station. The screen immediately displays your name, flight details, and baggage information without you touching anything or scanning any documents. You place your bag on the scale, and within 30 seconds your bag tag is printed and attached. The entire process happens faster than you can process what just occurred. This seamless experience is now available at bag drop stations in Atlanta, Detroit, Seattle, and expanding to 12 additional airports by year-end. Delta, American, and Alaska Airlines report that biometric bag drop reduces average check-in time from 2 minutes to under 45 seconds per passenger. However, there's a critical caveat that catches many travelers unprepared. You must have previously opted into biometric services when booking your flight or through your airline loyalty program. The system requires your facial biometric data to be linked to either your TSA PreCheck file, passport database, or airline profile. Without this pre-authorization, the futuristic kiosks become useless, forcing you into increasingly crowded traditional check-in line. The technology represents a fascinating glimpse into aviation's future, where human interaction becomes optional and efficiency reaches unprecedented levels. Yet it also creates a two-tiered system where prepared travelers experience the future while others face longer waits and more complex processes than ever before. 5. The digital gatekeeper that's blocking UK travelers. Sarah Mitchell thought she had everything planned perfectly for her London layover. Her passport was current, her connecting flight was booked, and she had plenty of time between flights. What she didn't know was that stepping foot on UK soil, even for a 2-hour connection, now requires government pre-approval that she didn't have. Starting July 2025, the United Kingdom implemented its Electronic Travel Authorization (ETA) system, fundamentally changing how Americans and other visa-exempt travelers access British territory. This isn't just another bureaucratic hurdle, it's a complete paradigm shift that's catching thousands of travelers off guard every week. The ETA requirement applies to every single entry into the UK, regardless of purpose or duration. Whether you're vacationing in Scotland for 2 weeks, conducting business in Manchester for 3 days, or simply connecting through Heathrow for 90 minutes, you must have approved ETA authorization before your airline will even issue your boarding pass. The application process itself is relatively straightforward. A 15-minute online form costing approximately $13, but the consequences of not having it are severe and immediate. Airlines are now legally required to verify ETA approval before check-in, meaning your trip ends before it begins if you've overlooked this requirement. What makes this particularly frustrating for travelers is the timing of enforcement. Unlike visa requirements that have existed for decades, the ETA system launched without the widespread awareness campaigns that typically accompany major travel policy changes. Many travelers only discover the requirement when they're denied boarding, leading to thousands of last-minute rebookings and missed connections. The authorization is valid for multiple entries over 2 years, making it worthwhile for frequent UK travelers. However, the application must be approved before travel, and processing times can vary. While most applications receive instant approval, some require additional review that can take up to 72 hours, making last-minute travel to the UK increasingly risky without proper planning. 6. The invisible chemical detectors watching your every step. Imagine walking through airport security, completely unaware that sophisticated sensors are analyzing the chemical composition of the air around your body. Welcome to the future of explosives detection, where passive scanning technology has quietly revolutionized how airports identify potential threats without ever touching a single passenger. Boston Logan International was among the first to deploy this groundbreaking technology, installing ceiling-mounted sensors throughout Terminal B that can detect trace amounts of explosive compounds and narcotics in ambient air. The system works by analyzing microscopic particles that naturally separate from clothing, skin, and personal belongings as people move through the space. What makes this technology particularly remarkable and slightly unnerving is its complete invisibility to passengers. Unlike traditional swab tests that require physical contact or body scanners that require active participation, these passive sensors operate continuously, analyzing every person who walks beneath them without any indication that scanning is occurring. The system's sensitivity is extraordinary. It can detect chemical traces from substances handled hours or even days earlier, leading to occasional false positives that surprise innocent travelers. A mechanic who worked on his car that morning might trigger alerts due to residual petroleum products. A gardener could set off sensors from fertilizer compounds. Even certain prescription medications can cause the system to flag passengers for additional screening. When the system does identify a potential threat, the response is swift but discreet. Rather than immediate confrontation, flagged passengers are typically randomly selected for additional screening several checkpoints later, maintaining the illusion of routine security procedures while allowing agents to investigate further. Denver International and several other major hubs have already begun installation, with nationwide deployment expected throughout late. This represents a fundamental shift in TSA's security philosophy, moving from reactive screening to proactive threat detection that begins the moment passengers enter the airport environment. 7. The European travel tax that's coming sooner than you think. Picture planning your dream European vacation for late 2025, booking flights to Paris, reserving hotels in Rome, and organizing tours through Barcelona, only to discover weeks before departure that you need government authorization to enter any of these countries. The European Travel Information and Authorization System, ETIAS, is set to launch in the final quarter of 2025, creating a new requirement that will affect millions of American travelers. ETIAS represents Europe's answer to America's ESTA system, requiring pre-travel authorization for visitors from visa-exempt countries, including the United States. The system will cover all 30 Schengen area countries, from Portugal to Poland, creating a unified digital border that travelers must navigate before departure. The application process is designed to be user-friendly. A 10-minute online form costing approximately $8, with authorization valid for 3 years or until passport expiration, whichever comes first. However, the implications for unprepared travelers are significant. Airlines will be prohibited from boarding passengers without verified ETIAS approval, regardless of the purpose or duration of their European visit. What many Americans don't realize is how comprehensive the Schengen area has become. Countries that many travelers don't associate with the European Union, including Iceland, Norway, and Switzerland, are part of the system. Even brief layovers in Amsterdam or connections through Frankfurt will require ETIAS authorization, affecting not just European vacations, but travelers using European airports to reach other destinations. The timing of ETIAS implementation creates particular challenges for holiday travelers. With launch expected in late 2025, anyone planning European travel for the holiday season or early 2026 must factor in application processing time, which can take up to 96 hours in complex cases. While most applications receive immediate approval, approximately 5% require additional review, making last-minute European travel increasingly complicated. Travel industry experts predict significant disruptions during the first months of ETIAS implementation as both travelers and airlines adapt to the new requirements. Smart travelers are already preparing by monitoring launch dates and understanding application requirements well in advance of their planned European adventures. 8. The smart luggage trap that's grounding high-tech travelers. Tech-savvy travelers invested hundreds of dollars in smart luggage, drawn by promises of GPS tracking, built-in scales, and USB charging capabilities. Now, many are discovering their high-tech investments have become airport liabilities due to evolving battery safety regulations that airlines are enforcing with increasing strictness. The issue centers on lithium battery placement and removability in smart luggage. FAA guidelines have long prohibited non-removable lithium batteries in checked luggage due to fire risk, but enforcement was historically inconsistent. That changed dramatically in 2025 when major airlines began requiring gate agents to specifically inquire about battery types during check-in. Marcus Thompson learned this lesson the hard way during a business trip to Chicago. His $400 smart suitcase, equipped with integrated USB ports and GPS tracking, was rejected at check-in when the Delta agent discovered its battery was permanently sealed inside the case. With no time to find tools to remove the battery and no space in his carry-on for the oversized suitcase, Marcus was forced to purchase a traditional bag at airport retail prices, while his smart luggage remained behind. The enforcement varies by airline but is becoming increasingly strict. Delta, American, and JetBlue now train gate agents to ask direct questions about battery removability, and many agents carry simple tools to help passengers extract batteries on the spot. However, luggage with sealed or difficult-to-access batteries often can't be accommodated, leaving travelers with expensive carry-on-only bags or forcing them to abandon their luggage entirely. What makes this particularly frustrating for travelers is the inconsistent messaging from manufacturers. Many smart luggage brands market their products as airline approved while focusing on TSA security compliance rather than airline battery policies. The distinction is crucial. TSA doesn't screen for battery removability at security checkpoints, but airlines enforce these rules at check-in, creating a gap in traveler awareness. The solution for smart luggage owners is straightforward but often overlooked. Ensure your bag's battery is easily removable and always bring the necessary tools to extract it if required. Many experienced smart luggage users now travel with their batteries removed by default, using the luggage's other features while avoiding any potential conflicts at check-in. As smart luggage continues to evolve and airline safety policies become more stringent, travelers must stay informed about both current regulations and their luggage specifications to avoid costly surprises at the airport. 9. The choreographed dance of strategic passenger timing. Jennifer Rodriguez thought she was running late for her Los Angeles to Miami flight when her mobile boarding pass directed her to TSA Lane 7, the slowest moving line in Terminal 4. What she didn't realize was that this wasn't random assignment or bad luck. It was algorithmic precision designed to orchestrate her arrival at the gate at exactly the right moment. Starting this summer, major airports including LAX and Chicago O'Hare have implemented boarding zone-based screening coordination, a revolutionary system that treats passenger flow like a carefully choreographed ballet. When you complete mobile check-in or visit a kiosk, the airline doesn't just assign your boarding group. It calculates exactly when you should pass through security to arrive at your gate in perfect synchronization with your assigned boarding sequence. The system works by analyzing real-time data from multiple sources: current security wait times, gate distance from checkpoints, boarding group assignments, and historical passenger movement patterns. If you're assigned to Group 4, which typically boards 20-25 minutes into the boarding process, the algorithm might deliberately route you to a slower security lane to prevent you from reaching the gate too early and contributing to overcrowding. This coordination happens seamlessly through digital channels. Your airline app might suggest arriving at security at a specific time, or airport kiosks might direct you to particular TSA lanes based on your boarding pass data. TSA officers, equipped with tablets showing passenger boarding information, can redirect travelers to specific checkpoints without revealing the underlying algorithmic reasoning. What makes this system particularly sophisticated is its adaptive nature. If your flight gets delayed while you're in the security line, the system can automatically reroute you to faster lanes to maintain optimal timing. Conversely, if your flight starts boarding early, notifications can alert you to expedite your movement through the checkpoint. However, travelers can still exercise control over this system. If you're running behind schedule or prefer to reach your gate early, you can request manual processing that bypasses the algorithmic routing. The key is knowing that this coordination exists and understanding that your security experience is being actively managed to serve broader operational efficiency goals rather than individual convenience. 10. The biometric defaults that's scanning without asking. David Kim approached the TSA podium at Denver International Airport, ready to hand over his driver's license as he had hundreds of times before. Instead of the familiar routine of document inspection, a small camera captured his face before he could even speak. The officer smiled and waved him through. No manual ID check, no document handling, just facial recognition verification that happened so quickly he barely registered it. This scenario plays out thousands of times daily across 85+ airports nationwide, where TSA's facial recognition technology has quietly transitioned from experimental pilot program to standard operating procedure. The system defaults to yes for biometric scanning, meaning your face will be captured and analyzed unless you explicitly request otherwise. The technology compares your live photograph to the image stored on your government-issued ID, creating a match confidence score that determines whether additional screening is required. The process takes less than 3 seconds and, according to TSA, provides more accurate identity verification than manual document inspection, which can be compromised by fatigue, distraction, or human error. What travelers don't realize is that this system creates a comprehensive database of travel patterns and facial recognition data, even if TSA claims images are deleted within 24 hours. Privacy advocates argue that the temporary storage period allows for data analysis and pattern recognition that extends far beyond simple identity verification. The opt-out process is straightforward but requires proactive communication. You must inform the TSA officer before approaching the scanner that you prefer manual ID verification. There's no penalty or additional scrutiny for opting out, but many travelers either don't notice the scanning equipment or assume participation is mandatory. Signs posted at checkpoints explain the biometric screening process and opt-out rights, but they're often small and easily overlooked during the stress of security process. Parents traveling with minors should be particularly aware, as children's biometric data is also captured unless parents specifically request manual processing for the entire family. With expansion to 120 POS airports planned for early 2026, understanding your biometric rights and making informed decisions about privacy versus convenience becomes increasingly important for every traveler. 11. The Clear paradox that's bringing back manual checks. Sarah Martinez $199 for Clear membership specifically to avoid showing ID at airport security. Her eyes and fingerprints were enrolled, her background was verified, and she'd successfully used the service dozens of times to skip directly to TSA screen. That's why she was shocked when the Clear kiosk at Orlando International Airport malfunctioned during her scan, and the attendant asked to see her driver's license, which was sitting in her hotel room safe. The irony wasn't lost on her. A service designed to eliminate ID requirements had created a situation where she needed traditional identification more than ever. This scenario has become increasingly common at major airports, where Clear has implemented dual verification protocols to combat fraud and technical failures. Since June 2025, airports including LAX, Orlando, and Newark have begun requiring backup identification during peak travel periods, especially when biometric scans fail or produce inconclusive matches. The change reflects growing concerns about account security and the limitations of biometric technology in crowded, high-stress environments. Clear's biometric scanning can be affected by numerous factors: changes in appearance due to aging, weight loss, or medical treatments, poor lighting conditions in busy terminals, or simple technical glitches in scanning equipment. When primary verification fails, backup ID requirements ensure that fraudulent accounts can't exploit system vulnerabilities to bypass security. The implementation varies by airport and time period. During peak travel times when security threats are elevated, even successful Clear members might face random secondary ID checks as an additional security layer. Off-peak hours typically maintain the traditional touchless experience that members expect. This evolution doesn't eliminate Clear's benefits. Members still skip the general ID check line and proceed directly to TSA screening in most cases. However, it does require a fundamental shift in how Clear subscribers approach travel preparation. Leaving identification at home or in hotel safes, once possible for Clear members, now risks significant delays and potential missed flights. The lesson for Clear subscribers is simple: maintain the same ID readiness as traditional travelers while enjoying expedited processing when systems function normally. The backup requirement serves as insurance against technological failures and security vulnerabilities, but only if travelers come prepared with proper documentation. 12. The automated recognition that's revolutionizing frequent flyer processing. Michael Thompson forgot to add his known traveler number when booking his last-minute business trip to Seattle. In previous years, this oversight would have meant standard security processing, removing shoes, laptops, and liquids while moving through regular TSA lines. Instead, he was surprised to discover TSA pre-check credentials automatically appearing on his boarding pass during mobile check-in. This seamless integration represents a major advancement in airline TSA data coordination, where sophisticated matching algorithms connect passenger loyalty accounts with government security credentials without manual intervention. United, Delta, and American Airlines now automatically cross-reference booking information with TSA databases during check-in processing, identifying eligible passengers even when they forget to include their known traveler number during reservation. The system works by analyzing multiple data points: passenger name, date of birth, loyalty program membership, flight history, and travel patterns. When these elements match TSA pre-check enrollment records with sufficient confidence, the system automatically applies expedited screening credentials to the boarding pass. However, this automation has notable limitations that can frustrate travelers who assume the technology is foolproof. Name variations between airline accounts and TSA records can prevent automatic matching. Dr. Michael Thompson on his pre-check application might not match Mike Thompson in his airline profile. Similarly, women who have changed names due to marriage might find their credentials don't transfer automatically if their loyalty accounts reflect different name formatting. The timing of automatic updates also varies by airline and can be affected by system maintenance or high traffic periods. Some travelers discover their pre-check status appears hours after initial check-in, while others find it missing entirely despite valid enrollment. Smart travelers treat automatic pre-check integration as a convenience rather than a guarantee. Always verify that TSA pre-check appears on your boarding pass before heading to the airport. And be prepared to visit airline customer service for manual credential verification if automatic systems fail. The investment in pre-check enrollment only pays dividends when properly applied to your travel documents. The technology represents a glimpse into aviation's future, where seamless integration between airlines and government agencies creates frictionless travel experiences. However, until these systems achieve perfect reliability, travelers must remain vigilant about credential verification and prepared to navigate both automated and manual processing systems.